Okay, 2016. Deadpool makes my list of honorary mentions. Fun film, super fun. The second one is not going to make my list just because, I don't know. I mean, it was fun and I liked it. I don't know why I didn't put it on my list, to tell you the truth. I completely forgot about Cable. That was silly. Now I don't remember what year it came out, but whatever year it came out, let's just say, maybe I'll put a little like asterisk note, Deadpool 2, because that was a fun movie as well. And I saw it on the list and I was just like, oh no, I put the first one on. Okay, that's an error. So Deadpool, definitely fun time. I loved the way this was filmed, but was super disappointed in what Tim Miller did with Terminator. Oh, and I was thinking that because he did such a good job with Deadpool, that meant he was going to do really good with Dark Fate. No. Okay, next one. The Accountant. I'm not super into Ben Affleck, but this movie was actually pretty good. I saw it, I think, 3 times practically in a row. Saw it at my brother's house. Watched it again with a friend, and then it's whatever. I've seen it at least 3 times. And I feel like it was really well done. And he plays like, what is he? Is he autistic or does he have Asperger's or something? I can't remember, but he's really good with numbers, but he's also like, he's like a killer too. I can't remember if he was a hitman. It's been a long time since I've seen this, and I should watch it again. But it was really good. I feel like the acting was good in here. The storyline was good. It was very compelling. Really drew you in, and it got pretty tense, as things were building to a climax. So because of that, it makes my honorable mention list for 2016. So there's one more honorable mention until I get to my favorite. Doctor Strange. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I have liked him since I started watching Sherlock. And he's, Doctor Strange. This was a fun film. It's probably not my, on the very top-ish of my MCU film, my favorite MCU films. I mean, I like a lot of the MCU films. But this one makes my honorary mention list because I never really read Doctor Strange. I knew who he was, but never really read him. So this was all mind trippy, this movie and everything, but I enjoyed it. Now, when I went in and saw it, I was not super familiar with his mentor, and I found out that they did not only, I believe, a race swap on that character, but a gender swap as well. So now when I watch it and I see her character, I'm like, why? She just doesn't feel like she fit. In fact, it never really felt like she fit, to tell you the truth, because of where she was, and she's in this land over there in the Far East, and it's like, you don't even really, why are you here? You just don't seem like you fit. But I went with it because I didn't really know much of anything about his story. And so now it's like, yeah, I really feel like that was a poor casting choice. And they should have not done that, in my opinion. But I still really like the movie. I think he did an excellent job as Doctor Strange, so pulled it off quite well. Okay, so my next for the top of 2016, it's actually a tie between 2 movies. So the first one that makes my favorite list for 2016 might be surprising to some people because it's not really a fan favorite, but I really like this movie. Oh no, sorry, I forgot. Wrong. Rogue One. I didn't see it there. Yes, Rogue One is still honorary mention. Sorry about that. Man, I led up to this dramatic intro and look what happened. Okay, Rogue One. Honorary mention for 2016. It came out at the end of the year in December, I believe. I really liked this movie. It was just like a standalone movie, and it was really the only one that Disney has done well, as far as I'm concerned. I saw Solo. It's okay. It's not that great. It's better than the stupid trilogy that had just concluded finally. Yeah, hate that trilogy. Hate it. I wish it had never been written. But this one was good. I like the storyline. I like the characters. It had a tragic-ish ending, which typically is something that I don't like, but it made sense with regard to the story. And I really liked how they pulled it off. So for that reason, this makes my list of honorary mention for 2016. Now we're getting to my favorites, the top 2. Okay, here we go. This. It's not a fan favorite, but in all honesty, I really like this movie. I even bought the extended cut, which I feel is good too, because it just adds so much more depth to it. Yes, there are flaws with the movie. The casting of Lex Luthor, I feel, was absolutely horrible. He is the worst part about this movie. But it brought us Wonder Woman. And I will be the first to tell you, when she was cast, when Gal Gadot was cast, I was not happy at all. I was not familiar with her acting, but I saw clips of her from some of the other movies she'd been in, like the Fast and Furious and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's a horrible choice. She's terrible. This is awful. She's a twig. She's not going to be able to pull it off. There's no way. Boy, was I wrong. So she put on about 15 pounds of muscle. She's still very slender. She just got one of those body types that's just, she's slim. She's not going to be, I can't really ever see her looking like a Linda Hamilton type, Sarah Connor. Though she didn't do too bad. But when I saw her on the screen, she's Diana Prince, and she's all, sort of seductive, but not really trying overly so. She's mysterious, right? She's mysterious. And then I had completely forgotten about her when the final battle was taking place. And then when she pops down in there in front of Batman and she does this thing and they play that music, I was like a little girl on the inside. I was like, ah! I was so happy. I was like, ah! I was so happy. And so for that reason, and also because I actually didn't really mind the story too much. Some of the writing was a little silly, the whole Martha thing, that's kind of, okay, yeah, that's a little cheesy, but I still really like this movie. I have watched this movie several times, and I don't agree with the critic score. And the audience score, while higher than the official critic score, is still lower than I personally would rate this thing. And so, yeah, that's why it's one of my top ones for 2016. So the next top one, which I almost feel like this one is above the other one, but not really. They're kind of evenly matched. So the next one shouldn't really be a surprise. Captain America Civil War. Well, it's basically like Avengers 3 is what this one was, is what it felt like. But yeah, great ensemble cast, great writing. I feel like each character got a good amount of screen time, and it didn't feel overly rushed, despite all of the material that was in here and all of the different characters that were in here. Really fun. I like the whole theme too, why they were at odds with each other. And in this particular movie, I was Team Cap. Tony Stark was absolutely off the rails with his mentality, with his mindset about this. He was taking what happened in the second movie. The mother of this person that died and apparently died during the events of the second movie, she's blaming him. He didn't do it. It wasn't his fault. But then he takes this guilt that she puts on him and he internalizes it, and he's like, oh yeah, it is, it is my fault and we're doing this. No, it wasn't. And you're crazy to be thinking it's okay to have the government come and regulate you, so for that reason, I was not on his side. But it hurt, it was kind of sad. It hurt to see these good guys at odds with each other. And when they had that final battle, I thought for sure that Captain America was going to kill him. Because with each of these movies, you never really know what's going to happen sometimes. I mean, I always knew that at some point, maybe Tony Stark was going to die, or Captain America, or whatever. But so yeah, I feel like this was really well done. It was also fun in the sense that it brought us Spider-Man. He showed up, and the pick of Tom Holland, I feel, was just excellent. So those are my picks for 2016. Let's move on to 2017. We're getting towards the end of the list. I have gone on and on. My voice, it might not hold out. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little. I noticed it when I was doing my last video for The Witcher. I was getting a little raspy. So, I don't know. Okay, next one. Okay, 2017 honorable mention. First honorable mention is Thor Ragnarok. This movie, the first time I saw it was not a good time in my life at that particular moment. My mom had just been diagnosed with colon cancer. She's fine now, thank God. But it had just happened a few days before we saw this, so I couldn't really fully enjoy or appreciate this film. But I've seen it a few times since then, and it's really fun. Very comedic. The Valkyrie was annoying, but you know, she was a pretty essential part to the movie, so whatever. Yeah, fun film. Don't really have a whole lot to add to it. Just that's on my honorable mention list. Next one, Logan. This movie was really, really good, you guys. I mean, it was so well done. The pick for, what was her character's name? Was it Maria or something? Daphne is the actress's name. She was so good in this movie, and he was so good in this movie, and it was terrible to see him go. I hated that this is his last movie. Now there's talk of him possibly coming back. I don't know. You know, as far as I understand it, he's done. But this was an excellent entry. Probably one of the best X-Men I know it's not really an X-Men, it's more like a Wolverine movie, but it's still part of the X-Men. So I think this is probably right on up there with X-Men 2. Just super, maybe even a little bit better, just because, I don't know, it just felt so much more raw, and it was rated R. So anyway, okay, moving on. Spider-Man Homecoming. This makes my honorable mention list for 2017. 2017 is not super long. There's a couple more before I get to number one. But yeah, fun movie. Like the comedy, like the writing, like the acting, like the filming. Did not see the twist coming at the end, so that really added a layer, you know, like towards the end. That really added a layer of tension to the whole thing. So I really like that. Yeah, don't have a whole lot to say about it, and I'm trying to wrap this on up before my computer fries, because it gets hot when I film these things, and I haven't stopped at all. So let's move on to the next one. Coco. So Coco, I saw it around just not long after Thor Ragnarok, sometime in December of that year, 2017, and still quite sad, you know, because of everything that was going on with my mom. And the theme of this movie is death. Wasn't really the best time. And then that same month, my husband's mother died, and then not long after that, his sister and niece were in a terrible accident. They got paralyzed, and then not long after that, his father died. So this movie actually carries with it for me a lot of sadness, and it still does, because I feel like I'm just not removed enough from, you know, in my mind emotionally, from all those bad things that were happening, especially just because of the whole theme. It's all about death, but it's very well done. The voice acting in here is excellent. I also love the Spanish voice acting cast that they got for this. So because I recognize some of the people. Marco Antonio Solis did the singing, and he's such a good singer. But yeah, this is a really good film, and the main character's name is Hector, so that was kind of cool, because my husband's name, that's his name. So not the main character, that dude, the skeleton guy. But anyway, yeah, really good film, and it's probably one of my favorites as far as the Disney Pixar. It was very colorful, and it was fun, touching, you know, but comedic at the same time. So anyway, okay, I think that might be no, that's not my last one for 2017 for the honorable mentions. This one, Happy Death Day. I did not see this when it came out in theaters, but I heard about it, and I heard it was really good. Oh, and I just realized that this is a foreign language poster picture. Oops. Okay, I see something about Get Out, The Purge, and The Visit. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. I was just so many images. Anyway, Happy Death Day. Really fun movie. This is one of those day repeat type things, and she's trying to solve her murder. So it's comedic, a little bit of horror element going on, suspense, thriller. stuff like that, and day repeating, which is fun material for me because it gets into the whole time travel type stuff, which I really like. So yeah, that's my last honorable mention for 2017. So the number one for 2017, there was no question about this. There was no debate about this one at all. I just knew right away that one was the one. Wonder Woman. Such high expectation for this movie, you guys. She was my childhood hero. I read her comics, loved her character. I was Wonder Woman. I mean, I would dress up in her costume and I'd go outside and I'd do the twirl around and remove my clothes to reveal my Wonder Woman costume underneath. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was one of those kids. So, you know, I knew by the time this movie came out, or that when it was going to come out, that I was happy with her as the role of Wonder Woman, but I was very, very nervous about how she was going to be portrayed and what the underlying theme of this movie was going to be. Was it going to be with a feminist narrative that man equals bad and woman is savior? I don't like that at all. I feel like it's a very destructive narrative to be putting forth. That was one of the reasons why I absolutely hate Captain Marvel. Not only that, but Brie Larson herself bringing that toxicity to it with some of the stuff she was saying before the movie. So yeah, that just no. But this one, I was really nervous about, but I was also afraid it was going to just not be written very well, that it was just going to be cheesy and ridiculous, and some parts might be a little bit, but I stayed away from trailers. I stayed away from reviews. I accidentally saw the Rotten Tomato score when I was going online to buy tickets. But then I had already heard a little bit of buzz, even though I kept trying to plug my ears. It's hard to escape stuff, right? So I went in, but I was still nervous. And I go in, and it's like, oh, this is really good. This is really good. Oh, and then the no man's land battle scene, and I'm like getting chills, and she's got the shield. It's like, oh my gosh, the score, the acting, just phenomenal. So good. But I was still worried, like, oh, is this going to be like man-hating type? But my fears were put to rest in the scene after the no man's land battle. They've liberated the town. They're all sitting around and happy, and Steve comes up to her, and she makes some sort of comment about like, oh, basically the town, everybody's happy. And he said to her, you did this. And she said to him, we did. And at that point, I remember very clearly at that point when I was watching, I was like, oh, it's going to be okay. And it was okay. The movie's awesome. I love it. It's one of my top 10. Hasn't beaten Terminator 2. I don't really think anything can, but it is right on up there. Excellent film. So good. And an absolutely wonderful adaptation of her character. I'm really looking forward to 1984, but I haven't watched any trailers. I'm nervous. I hope it doesn't do like a sequel, shakiness. Sometimes the sequels aren't all that great, but sometimes they can be really good. So let's hope that's the case with this one. All right, moving on to 2018.